Welcome to the next level. This is just going to be a simple reaction video to the Super Mario Brothers movie, not the 1993 one. I mean, have you guys seen? Great introduction. So I got Prower, and we actually have Motzi here with us today. It's been a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, Prower's feeling pretty cash. But have any of us seen the 1993 film?
Nope.
No.
No? Alright, so we're not going to talk about that whatsoever. I can guarantee that this one's better, though. Like, if you want my short opinion about this movie, it is a very solid 8 out of 10. It has its problems, but it is definitely one of the better video game-based movies that I've seen personally. So we're going to start this with a bit of a spoiler-free conversation for those of you that might still want to see the movie, and at the end, I will signal and we will begin the spoilers. So anyways, why don't we start with you, Prower? What did you think of the film?
Well, I've been excited for it for like the longest time since they announced it, and I saw that Seth Rogen was Donkey Kong. I've been really wanting to see it. So like, I went in with high expectations, but low expectations because it was Illumination. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I have been like very surprised with just the amount of like references and like the love towards Mario that it showed. I gotta say.
I was too.
Yeah.
Like you said, actually, that's a good point. As soon as they announced that Illumination was handling this film, I've been very cautious about it. So Illumination is not my favorite animation studio. In fact, I think that they've put out more mediocre and bad films than they have good ones. Every now and then they'll put out an okay film, but for the most part, it's all pretty mediocre. The Lorax is the biggest example I can think of. I think we can all agree on this, though, that most of their library is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't
terrible.
say
It's
pretty
cash
bad.
grabs. It's cash grabs. That's all it is. It's cheap. It's cheap movies. They have some decent ones. Like, I mean, Sing's okay, but like in the first Despicable Me and the second one. But you reach
Yeah.
a point where it's like, no.
Yeah, I think most
No.
people say that Hop is their least favorite Illumination film.
Oh,
Oh God, that was.
oh God.
awful. Okay, that I can agree. I felt like that was way more bad than the Lorax.
So I'm just gonna say it. I think this is the best film Illumination's ever made.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
So
I mean, there's not a lot of competition outside the first
Well-
Despicable Me, honestly.
Yeah, but, like, I just want to say that, I've been extremely disappointed with a lot of films lately. Space Jam 2, the Tom and Jerry movie, we can go on. But this one was actually a surprise. This one was okay. Now, it's not perfect. Absolutely is not. And we'll get into that. But I also want to quickly say that there was a lot of discourse about Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is Mario.
Yeah.
And I was very vocal in my opinion that Chris Pratt should not have been cast as Mario. And ever since the movie came out and people have been liking it, I've been seeing a lot of "we should apologize to Chris Pratt" things on Twitter. And I still disagree with that. I agree to that to the point that it's not Chris Pratt's fault. If somebody handed me $1 million and told me to go woohoo a few times, I would do it too. But
Yeah.
but it is still a very poor casting choice, and I do think it does. He's not Mario. He will not be Mario. And a lot of the cast did very well. Seth Rogen as DK was great. Charlie Day as Luigi was also very good. Jack Black as Bowser, that was just as good as Jim Carrey as Robotnik. Like, that's perfect villain casting. Yeah, that's kind of my thing, though, is that I don't feel like I'm wrong that Chris Pratt was not the right choice. It's gonna be worse when he's doing Garfield, I think, beginning of next year, or is it this year? I don't remember.
Oh God.
No. Okay. Wait. Before we jump into that, well, I didn't even know he was gonna be Garfield. I thought it was a joke.
No, it's legit. It's serious. He's gonna play Garfield in a couple months.
Wow.
I won't lie, he just doesn't have the vocal range. He just doesn't.
I will admit one thing. When it was announced that he was gonna voice Mario, I didn't have doubts that like everybody else had. Like, they were up in arms and like ready to fucking like kill anybody around them because.
Oh
he
no,
was
I
gonna be
don't
Mario.
think he deserved that. I just think that, it's Illuminate. Like, it's nobody's fault but Illumination and Nintendo. They're the ones that casted him. He's doing nothing wrong by doing it and collecting a paycheck. There's nothing wrong with that. My thing is with the casting choice.
That's true. I mean, I don't really have issues with casting as long as people can do it or find a way to motivate themselves to do it. That's why I didn't really have an issue with him being casted as Mario. I mean, I was surprised, but even when Seth Rogen was casted as Donkey Kong, that was a fucking surprise too.
That was just funny.
No, that was gonna happen.
What was the name? What's the
But
name of the lady who played Princess Peach? I don't even know her name.
Anya, I think Anya or Anya Joy Taylor.
Okay, yeah, she did an okay job too. I have very little problem with the casting of anybody except for Mario, because I still think that he didn't really do an amazing job, but it's not really his fault either.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say on the matter. Like, the film isn't god awful because Chris Pratt is in it, but I still think that there was better choices.
He definitely did not grow up with Mario.
No, okay, I didn't want to drag this out, but yeah, he absolutely was collecting a paycheck. Absolutely.
I always loved stomping Koopas.
In the Mario Brothers arcade game.
Yeah.
I don't consider the soundtrack necessarily a spoiler, so I do want to touch up on that a little bit. And that's one of the big things that this has obviously been compared to the Sonic movies quite a bit. And we will I want to touch up on that before we jump into the spoilers as well. But really quickly, I want to say the soundtrack was pretty good for this film. I do have one major problem with this, well, two major problems with the soundtrack, but I just want to say that overall it was really good. I was not expecting to ever see a Mario movie with a Beastie Boys song, like, ever. A lot of the choices were great. My one problem, and this has been brought up on social media quite a bit, is that they actually had another song. They only hear a bit of it in the final movie, but you guys know where in the film they play, I believe it's Take On Me?
Oh yeah, wasn't that originally some sort of DK song?
They had an entire DK song written for the movie, and they just cut it for Take On Me, which is pretty lame. Like, I had very little problems with the soundtrack overall. Like, it had a lot less pop music in it, and the one song I always hate hearing in an animated film, Mr. Sandman, I think it is, or whatever the hell that song is called. The one that plays at the end of the movie where Mario wakes up and you think he's back in Brooklyn, but he's actually in the Mushroom Kingdom. The one that's the generic kids,
like, happy ending song.
Yeah, like, that song always drives me nuts because I've been hearing that in kids' films since, like, Dougal. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Dougal.
I remember watching Dougal, but I don't...
It was in that movie soundtrack, and that movie wasn't expensively made, so it's been the cheap kids movie song for years, and I just kind of rolled my eyes when I heard it, but I mean, it's done at the very end of the movie instead of, like, we're at the beginning, like I would have expected from an Illumination film. You know, start with a stupid, corny pop song and do all that, but they didn't do it this time. The big thing, though, about the soundtrack, and it's sad, other than the DK song being removed, is that Grant Kirkhope, composer of many great games at Rare, including the Banjo-Kazooie games, but he wrote the DK rap, and he wasn't credited in the movie, and that's pretty lame. Like,
DK rap itself?
Yeah, they used the DK rap.
Yeah, they in the ending credits. I remember seeing at the end of the movie, it said Donkey Kong 64. It didn't say Grant Kirkhope.
Yeah, that's really lame. There's no reason not to credit him, and I really hope that gets fixed. Yeah. I hope that gets fixed in a home video release. But at the same time, you know, it's never going to be the same because he was all excited to see his name on the big screen for the Mario movie, and now that'll never happen. You know. Just because they didn't want to credit him, and that's lame. Okay, so the last thing we're going to touch up on before we head into spoilers is the obvious. We have to talk about how this movie fares against the two Sonic movies. I feel like, you know, a lot of people have been, like, kind of going back on their opinions on the Sonic movies because of their approach of taking Sonic and putting him in the real world, and people would have rather have had them keep Sonic in his world and build a movie about that. But I think the difference between Sonic and Mario as a franchise is that Mario has a defined universe where like everybody kind of understands it. Like even like casual fans understand that Bowser is after the princess. Mario and Luigi try to stop him. The princess has a group of mushroom people. Like, I feel like that's all very well defined. But the Sonic series, on the other hand, it's all over the place. So I don't really have any bad opinions about them taking Sonic and putting him in the real world, especially with how well Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were written in the second movie especially.
Okay, well with Sonic specifically, I'm really biased because I was just excited for Sonic 2 longer. Like,
Yeah.
I waited since that was announced, so I mean I'm a little biased when it comes to that as a sense. And also, one's a live action movie, one's an animated film. Their only connection is that their origin characters are from video games, so it's kind of hard to compare them. I for me personally, I think that the best comparison with Mario was to Puss in Boots 2: Last Wish, because these are both movies that came out around within 4 months of each other.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if I was comparing to Puss in Boots: Last Wish, I'd say Puss in Boots: Last Wish is a better animated film in general. But I feel like a lot of the Mario movies is fueled from nostalgia from people. They didn't spend a lot of time building up on Mario himself, because
Right.
who doesn't know who Mario is, type of thing. Where with the Sonic movies, they spent a lot of time building up who Sonic is, who's his family, where'd he come from, a little bit. Where with Mario, they did a little, but they barely touched on it. So
Okay.
that's where I feel they're different. Is there a lot of the Mario movies running on the fact that who doesn't know who Mario is? You know what I mean? They're expecting people to go into the movie knowing what a Mario is,
Yeah.
where Sonic
Yeah.
didn't have that luxury.
No, and Sonic will never have that luxury because his entire franchise is a little bit more niche, and not just niche, as in less people know it, but more so the sense that the continuity has been all over the place with Sonic. Meanwhile, Mario has basically stayed the same since '85, give or take. I feel like I prefer the idea of a Mario style movie for Sonic, but at the same time, I feel like with the Sonic movie 2 specifically, I was more excited and more drawn into the story with that one.
Fair.
Mhm.
That's totally fair.
Now, if we're comparing Sonic movie 1 to Mario movie 1, it's kind of a blowout. Honestly, Mario movie is the first Mario movie is better than Sonic. But I mean, to be fair too, we could also be comparing Sonic movie 1 to the 1993 Mario film, and in that case, yeah, so it's definitely interesting. Motzi, did you have any thoughts about that, or?
Everything pretty much of what Prower said. When I watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, I think for animation wise and everything, compared to the Mario movie, I liked Puss in Boots more. And comparing to Sonic 2, I don't know if that's a really fair judgment, because Sonic 1 and 2 were both okay movies. They weren't super fantastic. Of course, Sonic was cute and the actors did really well, even Jim Carrey, but I feel like comparing Mario to all of those, it doesn't need to be compared. I don't know if my
No.
opinion's making sense or not.
No, I
Okay.
get it. I just personally asked because there's been a lot of talk on social media about how we can throw away the Mario movies we can throw away the Sonic movies because Mario movie is so much better, and I'm like, is it?
It's very hard to compare. I feel like if you really want to compare movies coming out right now, compare Puss in Boots to Mario, because they're both animated films
Yeah.
in the same 3 months.
Yeah,
You can easily compare them.
Yeah.
Sonic, you cannot.
Yeah, but the comparisons can be brought up, and I definitely see there's two different angles to making these kind of stories work. Adapting a video game to a movie, and I'm not opposed to either one. I think that I like Sonic Movie 2 just about as much as the Super Mario Brothers movie. I think. Alright, so everybody, there are spoilers ahead. It is not my fault if you click through the video randomly and you find a part talking about the ending of the film. It is on you. I will have timestamps and stuff, but spoilers ahead, so stop the video until you've seen the movie or do whatever you wish. Thank you very much.
Okay, so first spoiler, I cannot believe Mario died at the end. God, bro, when they picked up his reboot card, that was fucking insane.
Alright, so the first thing I want to touch on, and I don't think this criticism was brought up by anybody other than me, and I don't want to sound bad because if I don't explain this well enough, it's gonna sound really bad. The biggest problem I had with the Mario movie is honestly with Princess Peach. Now, it's kind of become a trope in movies to make a female character a strong character and make her better than the boys in a certain way in modern cinema, and I'm not opposed to that. I believe that women should have role models in movies, and I have nothing against that. The thing about it is that I feel like you can make a character strong without her being good at everything, and that's the big problem with this movie, is that Princess Peach is good at everything. She's a good leader. She's amazing at doing the things that we expect Mario to be good at. She beats Bowser. All of that is in this film, and you know, it's not that I hated her character in the film, but it's more so that it seemed like very little of a reason for Mario to be involved whatsoever outside of his brother.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
They build something up where she isn't from the Mushroom Kingdom, but they don't really touch on that at all in the movie.
They addressed it once and then dropped it, which I found was weird. If the movie had more runtime, I feel like it could have been a really interesting concept to go after.
Yeah, I almost feel like they're trying to save it for a sequel, which, okay, fair enough. But
that should be more explained in the beginning movie, you know?
That's kind of just the problem with modern movies, is that they want you to be strapped in for an entire series instead of trying to make one good story. Yeah, so that's like my biggest problem. It's not that I hated Princess Peach. I thought she was fun. It's just that she's a little too perfect.
She's not a little too perfect. She's overly perfect. Like,
fair.
Kind of beyond perfect.
Yeah, so that was my big problem. My second biggest problem with the movie is Luigi. So at the beginning of the film, well, almost the beginning of the film, Luigi and Mario get separated. And Luigi ends up in, I think they call it the Badlands, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And there's a really cool homage to Luigi's Mansion where Luigi is like exploring this like genuinely creepy area with like all those dry bones chasing after him and then the mansion and stuff. Like, that was all legitimately really cool. But then he gets thrown into a cage after a short scene with Bowser, and then that's his entire life for like 80% of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that
was the big issue.
But it adds motivation, because otherwise Mario wouldn't care about some kingdom he just stumbled upon. He just wants his brother back.
Would that be
having
though?
Luigi get kidnapped gives enough motivation. If Peach was kidnapped, why would he give a shit?
Because that's just the kind of person that Mario is. Like, he immediately, like in the beginning of the movie, they expressly show that Mario was ready to go save Brooklyn when the pipes explode or whatever's going on in the beginning of the movie, and they go and fix it. So Mario's already displayed to be a heroic type. So, like, he would have definitely...
Maybe if they introduced it right, maybe if it was like he met the princess, then watched her get kidnapped, then maybe they could have gone after her. But if they just found out the princess is missing, like, single-handedly, he would have zero motivation. He just wants his brother, right?
Well,
so I understand why they did Luigi getting kidnapped, and he had a bigger role at the end of the movie.
I don't know. I think that was kind of lame, and also, even if that was the case, they could have still had him, like, get out of the thing and try to, like, solve it by himself.
That's true.
But they just kind of wrote him out of most of the movie, and that was pretty lame. I will say, I don't know what the hell was up with the one Luma in this movie. So, I think, okay, so I believe that there's only one Luma in this entire movie. And
just the very depressing one.
And it's just the most morbidly depressed Luma ever. And I don't even know what the purpose was, because it's not like they have any, like, Pintas from Super Mario Sunshine. Or, I don't know. But, like, they just have this one blue Luma who's just, like, morbidly depressed. And it's kind of great.
I like the other characters that were reacting to the Luma were like so done with that, just the depression, the everything about it. And then when he was happy about like almost dying too, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was great. Like, I know I've been focusing on a bit of the negatives, but honestly, I was so shocked that the movie was this good that, you know, like, I want to point out that the two biggest flaws of the film were those. Also, I almost started laughing because when Mario is fighting DK, and, you know, he puts out the fire flower, which is funny. I'd never thought about a fire flower working like that. But they show him they show that blue mini mushroom, and I started laughing immediately, and a couple of the people around me didn't understand why I was laughing.
Oh yeah, no, that too.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. I was not expecting to see the mini mushroom or the ice flower, like, whatsoever. Like, the ice flower caught me for a loop.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
I feel like Mario should have got the ice flower still.
Mario
should've
didn't
been
even
the
get it.
hero.
Okay, sorry, this is another nitpick, but why the heck didn't Mario use a fire flower anywhere in this movie?
He only ever used the mushrooms and then the Tanuki suit.
And the cat suit.
And the cat suit, yeah, my bad.
Like, I mean, it's just kind of weird that, you know, like, I feel like one of the most iconic Mario power-ups wasn't used by Mario, but no, they had a scene of Princess Peach using it in the field, like,
Yeah, flawlessly.
And Donkey Kong.
And Donkey Kong, but I was just gonna say that in the Princess Peach scene, am I the only one thinking that was a massive fire hazard? Like, you got this giant plane with a big tree, and there's just fire flowers all over the place. Like, it's like one bomb goes off here, the entire place is erupt.
Why didn't Mario get curious and want to try it in that field, by the way?
Yes, yeah, I was expecting to see a scene where, you know, like, Girl Power Peach is really good at the fire flower, but Mario touches the fire flower and sets himself on fire.
She's, like, good at it. She teaches him how to use it or something.
Yeah.
That would have been, like, bonding. Once again, I feel like the movie should have had 20-30 minutes more of runtime. I feel like a lot more could have been done.
That's what I said too.
I've heard that criticism a lot, and yeah, it definitely feels like the movie just kind of suddenly ends.
It picked up really quickly too. It had a very slow start, like it felt like an Illumination film for me. It was building up and just boom, boom, boom. We're going. It caught me off guard.
Yeah, but that's definitely the case. I gotta say too, with the Mario Kart section, I'm just gonna call it that. It did make me laugh that in this lore that the blue Koopas are all have, like, the generals of the Koopa army are the ones with the blue shell, and he, like, gets pissed off after he loses and he, like, does the blue shell thing. Like, that was pretty funny to me.
He suicided. He killed himself.
Oh, but that does remind me of another criticism. I'm sorry. It's just...
Oh my god, Jardy.
No.
The whole subplot of Mario and DK bonding because their fathers don't respect them is the corniest thing ever. I'm sorry. Now,
yeah.
I will have to say, like, holy crap, they showed off Mario and Luigi's family in this.
Yeah.
That was completely left field. They didn't have to do it. I'm shocked that they did. But that was really cool. But honestly, the whole, oh, my father doesn't respect me thing, it's been done to death. They didn't even build up on it. It's just kind of like a throwaway line. Like, we're supposed to care, you know?
I feel like I cared more when, what was the... Pardon me for being like a damn... Like a dumbass right now. I forgot that character's name. From the very beginning of the movie, he like...
Oh, Foreman Spike.
Yeah. So, yeah, Spike, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get his name right. Okay, so I felt more emotion when he was talking to Mario. I felt genuinely bad, and I felt connection there, like, oh, he's being put down a lot. Like, just that interaction alone made me feel like, okay, he's gonna be a character that's gonna want to push himself and, you know, this and that. But then when they showed his dad being mean to him, like, out of nowhere, I didn't really feel like it was part of the story. Like, it was just a joke.
But the thing is, like, yeah, like, his dad's line felt like more of a like casual like worry, like, oh well, you shouldn't have quit like a good job, you know, like it's risky or whatever. Like it didn't seem like he was being overly mean about it, but then like try to pretend that there was some relevancy to the at the end there, and it was like
Well, I guess considering the day he just had prior to coming home, he probably expected his family to be like his number one support. Like
Well,
at least a little bit good.
I don't think he expected it, because I think they're trying to imply that his father is always like this, and
that was weird because we've
Yeah.
never met his father.
yeah, no, it was really weak.
Oh, I didn't even know he was like an actual Mario.
Yeah,
character. I thought he was
no.
an
He
elimination.
is like an enemy in the games. In fact, his like
Wow.
his hard hat says Wrecking Crew on it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I noticed that. I thought that was just like I picked up on like every reference in the movie, and I didn't even realize he was actually like, huh.
Yeah, no.
He was
Yeah,
just so
I thought he
unknown in
made
the
a
movie
person
too. That's
too.
the thing. He was there at the start, and then there at the end is like a joke, and that was it. I was like,
Well-
I think it was more of like they wanted to show that Mario and Luigi aren't like loved by the general public. They're kind of like losers, you know.
yeah.
Loser
And I
tried.
think they didn't want Mario's dad to be a total shithead, right? So they made it where the dad was like non-supporting but not a piece of shit. And they
Yeah.
needed to sell the fact more that they're like decently unliked guys, or not unliked, but just like unknown, kind of like losers. They're plumbers.
Not
But
supported.
that's why I think Spike is there and he's not focused on a lot, is because he totally narcs on him
But it's
really
built-
hard, and then the dad joins in. So like, and then they had a terrible day. Like they should feel like crap, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
Spike is definitely much more built up than his father, but you know what?
Yeah.
Another big missed opportunity was not naming that dog Bowser.
No, that's actually kind of
Like
cute. The dog part.
that dog is out
That
for
was
blood.
kind of No, I know the fucking dog was insane. But I can't imagine them having like that really bad day with that dog and everything, and then I don't know. The story feels kind of a little
When-
bit loose. Like, the
when
story
when
feels
you
weird.
when you think about it, it's definitely very loose. Like
Yeah.
when you're watching it, I don't think it comes off like that, because I definitely was. It had my attention all the way through, and only looking back at it am I realizing all this stuff. Like, yeah, that's pretty weird, or that. The only thing I really picked up on was the whole I wanted to see more Luigi, and Princess Peach is too good at everything.
No, it
I
doesn't
just-
become
I want to see more Mario instead of Peach. I kind of agree with that. I like the girl power stuff, but like
I want to see Daisy.
Daisy.
Uh,
Why is there a
somebody-
Roomba
somebody-
and no Rosalina? We gonna go there?
Somebody made the point
True.
that Princess Peach in the film isn't acting like Princess Peach. She's more like Daisy.
Daisy, yes, she's acting like Daisy, and I'm not saying that Princess Peach can't be, she can't be tough or anything like that, but I feel like that more tomboyish nature was Daisy, not Peach.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my thing is, I'm not like her character wasn't like offensive to me. Like, I wasn't rolling my eyes every time I was seeing her. It's just that they definitely gave her like no flaws whatsoever. Like, she's so much more adept at handling everything other than Mario. Like, there's no reason she couldn't have beat DK. There's no reason she couldn't beat Bowser. Like.
She was already on her way to go do that. She only let Mario come because it involved a part of his family. That was pretty much it.
And you know
She
what?
did
I
beat Bowser.
think they wrote themselves in the wall there, because I feel like a lot of like Mario's role in this movie as a lovable goof that like messes up, that would have been Luigi, and I feel like I don't know. I really dislike the how they basically wrote Luigi out of most of the movie. Like,
Do you wish that? Would you rather have like they got introduced to Peach somehow, then she got taken, and Mario and Luigi went to go get her instead of Mario and Peach getting Luigi?
I would have
Yeah.
I would have been okay if Luigi and Peach got taken. Because I have this weird little fucking thing in my head where I'm thinking, okay, he would have got into the warp pipe, bloop, 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 whatever.
well,
His brother gets separated from him.
I just think that one of the better parts of the movie was the whole dynamic between the two brothers. and there isn't enough time in this movie to like build up on that. And I'm not talking about doing the standard family movie where they have a big fight towards the third act of the film and they have to get over their differences in order to save the day. Like, I'm not asking for that stupid trope. But at the same time, like, how effective would it have been if at the towards the end of the movie, Peach was the one kidnapped, Mario and Luigi got beat and sent somewhere, like they almost do in the final movie, and then they gotta like come to grips and like actually go and save the day,
That would have been cool. Like they've been carried by Peach the whole time, kind of like the mentor, then the mentor gets taken at like step up type of thing.
Yeah, I just feel like they were really worried about criticism about, sexism because of Peach's traditional role in the games. I feel like they went too far the other direction.
Fair.
Yeah, she should have been kidnapped, and not because she's a girl, but she just definitely should have been kidnapped because that's what Princess
that's
Peach
Mario. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be for a bullshit reason. It could just be for the reason they were going for it in the whole movie. Like, Bowser wanted to marry her. There you go. He just kidnapped her.
But like they wouldn't even let that happen because she has to like use an ice flower and like kick his ass. Like, they just couldn't even let that happen.
She just came off very
perfect.
Yeah, and I just don't really enjoy characters when they're like that.
They wanted to show that she could fight for herself.
And that's fine. That is completely fine. But the problem is, she's just much more capable than anybody else in the movie.
The problem is that's not Mario. That's just not how Mario is.
Now, I'm okay with the scene at the beginning where like she's like teaching him and like he's messing up because, like he's not used to this kind of thing. But then after that, they should have, like dialed it down a bit,
It's gonna sound kind of weird, but I feel like I would have much rather have seen Toad be a mentor in a way.
Yeah, I guess we haven't even talked about Toad yet, but he was pretty good in this movie.
Can I mention that he like disappeared for most of the movie? He was just there and then gone.
You know what?
Like,
I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, that's definitely true. Like, he does.
No, I noticed that when I walked out of the theater. I was talking to my friend. I call him SpongeBob. Shout out to SpongeBob. But I was talking to him about that, and I was like, dude, Toad completely disappeared. Yeah, after
you know what?
The slower build up near the start, he was gone. He was there with the DK stuff. He rode in the back. He barely spoke. He built his own car. It was like a funny joke. Then he did the racing thing, and then him and Peach drove off. And then the only other thing he did after that was that he got shocked, and that's what made Peach say she'll marry Bowser because he was getting tortured. And he didn't even say anything, by the way. So
and
yeah,
then he got his bouquet.
Yeah, he was gone. That was very weird, especially for a character that they decided was like important enough to take with them as they went. You'd think he would have had a bigger role as like a side character.
That's a good point. Like, almost at the very time that DK gets introduced into the movie, they pretty much just completely shoves the Toad aside.
Yeah, and then made DK take that spot.
DK was very funny though.
Yes, no.
DK, that was great.
That DK was great. Like, no problem whatsoever with that.
Seth Rogen's laugh on DK.
They wrote Seth Rogen's laugh into the character.
Mm-hmm. Also, I have to say, I really like the design of DK in this movie. Like, it's a cross between the classic one from the arcade and the Donkey Kong Country / modern look. I
think
really
all the
liked
designs were good. I think the animation was incredible. Just get that out of the way. Like, the entire movie looked incredible. I think Bowser looked like the best, in my opinion. Yeah. The fire breathing, even like the scenes of him on the piano singing and stuff. Like he looked really good, and Jack Black did way better job than I thought he would. Like, oh my god.
Oh no! As soon as they said Jack Black is Bowser, I was like, all right, well, that's the one casting choice that I'm 100% sold on.
First thing I thought of was Skadoosh, but that's definitely not what I saw.
Well, he's got the perfect range for that, and so you were paying a lot of attention to the references. Did you see anything Zelda in the entire movie?
No, I didn't find it. I saw Punch Out, and I saw...
Oh, yeah, no, I saw Punch Out. Like,
Kid Icarus and a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I saw the Pikmin.
I just thought it was really weird that there was nothing Zelda in this movie. Like, there probably is.
Like a nod to it. I mean, they focused more on like all the references were like NES. Like,
Yeah.
But
right,
you know,
but-
but I
but I mean,
saying,
Link was on the NES. He was like almost a launch title. It was
well, I just feel
86.
like, when Mario's playing Kid Icarus on the NES, like, why was it Kid
Yeah.
Icarus? Like, I'm okay
You know,
with
I
it.
asked the exact same question. I mean, they could have used any game. I feel like honestly, I almost feel like Punch Out would have been a better game there. To be honest with you, I know they're
Well-
just trying to be diverse with the references, but
But where
like,
was Zelda?
once again,
Like, I don't.
okay, it seemed very jarring for Mario to be playing Zelda 1. I feel like people would feel very weird about that.
I don't know. I feel like it would have fit better than Kid Icarus. Like,
Well, because Kid Icarus is seen more as like an arcade game. Like you could put anything there. Where if Mario's playing Zelda, then that means Mario could be playing Mario, which is just weird, right?
I don't follow that logic, but
Well,
Wait,
here's my thing, right? Kid Icarus isn't like an established IP. Like that
Well,
could have
it
been
is.
any
What?
arcade game, and no, okay, look, hear me out. I know it's an established IP, right? I'm just saying, in the timeline of like where the movie is, right? That could be, they could just say like, oh, it's not Kid Icarus, it's just some arcade game or something, right? Like he's just playing a game. Where if he's playing something that's like undebatably Zelda 1, you know what I mean, like a franchise like that, then that means that there's Mario on the console he's playing too, if you know what I mean. Like that just doesn't line up well. Do you know what I mean? Like it needs to be some sort of arcade game for what he's playing. I think
But-
like the idea of Mario playing Zelda is like really fucking funny though.
but he's playing on an NES. Like, I guess I
I
could
know,
see
it
your
just seems
I could
dumb.
see your logic if it was like Excitebike or like, I don't
Yeah.
know, even like Rad Racer. That's not Nintendo.
Okay, wait, actually Excitebike would have been like really perfect.
Yeah.
Wait,
so,
that would have
like,
been way better than Kid Icarus. Because then he could have just been driving the motorcycle and then like crashed or something and then got pissed and turned out instead of just dying.
Yeah.
That would have worked way better.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just felt weird that I didn't. Like, I'm sure it's in there somewhere, but I didn't see any Zelda references. And it's
What would
weird.
you rather, Luigi walk in his room and he's playing fucking Gyromite with his Rob? Like, what do you want from them?
Zelda? Like, I was expecting to see Zelda, which would have made
just
sense.
Like a Zelda movie.
Zelda movie. Yeah, well, I'm just make a Zelda movie, bro. Like, come
No,
on.
I don't want it to be Illumination though. I'm sorry.
DreamWorks, please.
No, I want it
Oh,
to be like.
Shrek.
No, what? Oh god.
Shrek. Oh. Make another Shrek movie if you can hear me. Make another Shrek movie.
The ending is extremely predictable. Let's all face it. Mario is hiding because he's hurt, and he's not sure if he can do it. But then he remembers what he was told in the beginning of the movie, and that convinces him to stand up for everything. And the entire time Bowser's just putting the star around, and we all know it's gonna happen. Like, he doesn't use the star and just immediately beat Mario's ass in, right? No, of course not, because what happens?
I forgot. Teacher, can you remind me?
What?
Don't-
No, he just avoids it and then Mario got it.
So yeah, like Mario and Luigi get the star, and they start beating Bowser's ass in.
Beating Mario laugh.
Now, did anybody else expect them to end on the throw? The Mario 64 throw?
Yes, I was
Yeah.
hoping the whole time.
And it almost happens, but not really.
It kinda did. He just didn't say that so long, Gabe Bowser.
Well, he's not gonna say so long, Gay Bowser. It's supposed to be so long,
Bowser.
yeah, so long, King of Bowser, or whatever it is.
Yeah, so long, Gabe Bowser.
It's not.
So long, Gabe Bowser.
Dude, that's the general world consensus is what he says
It
that.
is. I was gonna say I like how they gave, like, even though Bowser to them is like a complete dick, they made him a little piano. Like, who
Yeah.
authorized that? Who gave him the mini piano?
mini mushroom.
The piano ate a mini mushroom.
Wrapping this up, we know Jari's a nitpicker.
Well, I mean, okay, like, no matter what my nitpicks are, It's still an 8 out of 10. It's still a good movie. I still say go see it. You know, I have the things that are in my head, and I'm like thinking about like why they did things the way they did, and that's just kind of how I am.
That's a valid point though. I mean, the movie overall, I give it like an 8 out of 10, like 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh, 8.51.
Well, you think
I like
this
it
is the price right?
slightly more than Motzi.
Why 1 more point?
It's like The Price is Right. I'm just
Yeah.
fighting you.
Yeah, he's
God.
just being an asshole. Well, anyways, guys, it's kind of our short look at the Mario movie, even though it's probably going to be about a 40-minute video, so that's fun.
Woo! We're gonna be talking about.
Can I make the
nothing
closing statement?
related.
You go
Can I make
ahead.
a closing statement?
Hmm?
I always loved stomping Koopas.
All right, good night, everybody.
This is like a racial slur.